How you doing? How you doing? Today we're talking about a weapon that used to be the most sought after gun in the entire game, the Eagle Bearer Exotic AR. For the longest time, this thing was the holy grail. If you had it, you were one of the lucky few who managed to complete the Dark Hours raid. Oh, but times have changed. And right now, in Year 8 Season 2, the Eagle Bearer has never felt better. So I'm telling you, it's time to dust this thing off and give it another shot. I'm going to show you my favorite build for it right now, walk you through how to get it easier than ever, and explain exactly why it feels so good this season. Lock and load, let's do this.
I'm the last man in the dark zone. Bag full of junk, call it backbone.
Wait.
Piece of shit wristwatch.
Bandidos, what up? Your boy Tux with the Division 2. Let's start with a little history. The Eagle Bearer was, for years, the most desired weapon in the Division 2. It's an exotic P416 with a 60-round magazine, which was huge when it first dropped. On top of that, the longer you fire, the better accuracy it gets. And the real kicker is the talent. Headshot kills give you a powerful damage reduction effect. If you get 3 kills once it's activated within the time limit, you become basically immune to damage for a short period. It's high risk, high reward. Mess up the kills, and that damage comes back to bite you, sometimes hard. Problem was how you got it. It was locked behind the Dark Zone raid, an 8-man activity. Not because the raid was insanely difficult or anything, but because coordinating 8 people with real-life schedules, work, and other commitments is a pain, especially for solo players or people who don't use Discord or have big dedicated clans. It just wasn't accessible for a huge portion of the player base. Fast forward to Year 8 Season 2, things have changed. If you've been playing this season, you already know that both the Eagle Bearer and the Ravenous Exotic AR are now dropping in the Toxic PVE Dark Zone. When you defeat the hunters at extraction points, there's a 2% chance to get one of them. 2% doesn't sound like much, but when the hunters are farmable and you can chain extractions, it adds up fast. I got my first Ravenous on day 1 and the Eagle Bearer just a few days later. Next season, there's a really good chance that Toxic PVE Dark Zone won't be around, and those weapons will go back to being extremely rare. So right now is legitimately the best and easiest time we've ever had to get the Eagle Bearer. I already put out a full video on how to efficiently farm the hunters in the Toxic PVE Dark Zone, so if you haven't seen that, go check it out after this. It'll save you a lot of time. So what makes the Eagle Bearer special? It's still a P416 platform with that big 60-round magazine. The accuracy improvement while firing is excellent for landing consistent headshots. And that immunity talent is the star of the show. Get a headshot kill and then follow up for a total of 3 kills and you become extremely tanky. Well, immune. The goal with this weapon is to chain those kills and stay in that immune state as much as possible. It's a high-risk, high-reward playstyle that rewards good movement, positioning, and headshot accuracy. Okay, let me walk you through how I'm running this build. 90 rounds in the mag. I got damage to targets out of cover on mine with 28% expertise. I am going to be showing you peak build, but you don't have to be running prototypes in order for this weapon to feel good. But this season has some tricks up its sleeve, and you're going to want to stick around to find out what those are. So, tipping scales, normally intended for LMGs, also feels good, especially on these slightly slower and bigger mag assault rifles. So this gives us another 30% magazine size, and this thing already has a larger mag of 60 rounds, so this is pushing it even higher. We're doubling down. Skipping over the LMG damage, but I do run an LMG as backup in case we need to lock the enemy down. I have throttle control by running 4 pieces. Just by shooting, this build stacks, so you don't have to land your shots like Striker. So we're already aces there. And we only need to build 50 stacks. Our mag at base is 60. It's actually going to be 90, so getting to peak and maintaining it is going to be no problem. Each stack provides 0.5% weapon handling. Remember when I said you need to get a headshot kill in order to activate the immunity? Well, that's going to help you. And it's also going to help you get consecutive kills because your reloads are going to be really fast and you're going to be landing more shots. And 4% critical hit damage per stack as well is going to help your DPS. That's your time to kill. And you need to get 3 kills within that window, so accuracy and DPS are what it's all about. Tipping skills does decay quickly, but with this large mag, fast reloads, you're not going to have an issue. Now, my augments aren't tailored for this build. I just stuck with what was already on my tipping scales, which I use for all sorts of different builds. But this mask has paradox. We're going to get a chance at refilling our magazine from time to time. I'm maxing out my crits and weapon damage everywhere. For the backpack, it has Echo as the augment. You do want to run the backpack for its talent called Snowball. This is going to push your critical hit damage per stack from 4% to 7%, weapon damage and crit chance and crit damage. My third preset tipping skills is the gloves with weapon damage and crit damage. And finally, the knee pads has weapon damage and critical hit chance. Sure, you're reaching 60% crit chance because of our chest piece and the talents coming off of tipping scales. So we are at 58%, which is going to be close enough. And we have 138% critical hit damage at base. And then we're going to get another 350 on top of that because of tipping scales. So that pushes us to 488 crit damage on a 90 round mag. Not too shabby. All right, I love RPMs on this. So I am running the salvo so I can double dip on that rate of fire. And I have crit chance and echo on this one. And we're running 2 pieces, which is giving us 20% assault rifle damage. You could actually get away with the tipping scales chest piece if you want to be more creative with your build. This is going to push your stacks to 75, but your mag is so big, that won't be a problem. So if you don't want to run perfect obliterate, which is a little bit punchier, you can go ahead and run the tipping scales chest piece or anything else you like. And that will open up things like the overdog gloves, which a lot of people like for that 30% amplified damage, which is pretty darn strong, no doubt. But I'm digging the consistency here. The build was performing great. And then I'm just running a normal shield. You do want gunner. That's going to help with faster reloads from time to time, more RPM from time to time, and also 10% armor on kill. So that's all the added survivability I have besides the immunity feature from the Eagle Bearer. So I'm going to talk about this in a minute, but the idea of the Eagle Bearer is extremely fast time to kill and to lean into that immunity. Now, you still need to consider your defense for when you're not immune. So that's why a little bit of armor on kill or even bonus armor is okay, but you don't want to add so much that you're pulling away from your DPS, which is critical. You need those 3 kills. So the Eagle Bearer feels better now than really ever before. And that's not just because it's easier to get. It's actually because of the seasonal modifiers we have. Now, we don't know what we're going to get next season. Maybe it's something better. Maybe it's not. But this season, I'm talking about the base modifiers. So you have all these passives, and they are helpful to your performance, but don't do really anything for the weapon itself. So we're really looking at the Clean Up the Streets global modifier. So this is giving us 40% optimal range, 35% weapon handling, which is going to help your reloads, your shots on the head, 20% more magazine size, 15% damage to armor, and even more rate of fire. And rate of fire behind the Eagle Bearer feels really good. I'm loving it. I'm also using Invincible. So Invincible is just in case of emergencies. That's how I use it. So if an NPC got behind me and surprises me, then I activate this. So Invincible is actually designed very similar to the Eagle Bearer, where you activate this, you're immune for a set period. The more kills you get gives you more bonus armor, and then any damage you absorbed at that time will hit you all at once when this thing goes on cooldown. But the bonus armor is there to absorb it. So if you got a lot of kills, then hopefully you have enough bonus armor to absorb 100% of the damage that's coming your way. But if you took too much damage, no matter how many kills you got, you could still die. There's rumors out there that the Eagle Bearer will override that if you're in your immunity state. That's not true, sadly. So Invincible doesn't override the damage that comes back from the Eagle Bearer, and the Eagle Bearer's immunity from its talent doesn't override the damage that comes back from Invincible. What seems to be happening is that the damage that's being applied to you is calculated outside of whatever additional immunity buffs that you have. Otherwise, I'm running increased status effects, and that's because of Contagion, and also for any status effects I'm applying through augments, and then from here, I just have a little bit of hazard protection. For this build, I'm focusing on high DPS and mobility. Adding heals or armor on kill isn't as important because when the immunity is active, you don't need much healing. It's not going to apply to anything. It'll be wasted. Same with armor on kill. Protection from leets, deflector shields, bonus armor, and the Exodus gloves can all help when the immunity drops, but nothing beats just staying aggressive and keeping those headshot kills going. I've tried this with the striker and it feels good, but I prefer tipping scales because it extends the magazine even further. Combined with the seasonal modifiers this season, you can push the Eagle Bearer up to 90 rounds with better RPM and handling, and that's a massive difference in feel. The global modifiers right now are basically custom made for the Eagle Bearer. Larger mag, higher RPM, and better weapon handling all play perfectly into what this gun wants. That's why I'm saying you should run it right now while the Toxic PVE Dark Zone is available. Now, where does it shine? It's fantastic for heroic, legendary classified assignments, global events, and the Toxic PVE Dark Zone. It's also going to feel great in the upcoming summer event. The Big Mag and sustained accuracy make it excellent for clearing ads and chaining kills. However, I don't think it's the best choice for high-tier escalations. Tier 6 and up, the time to kill just doesn't line up well with what the talent needs. You need consistent back-to-back kills to make the immunity work. In super high-tier content, other options might feel better. But for almost everything else, the Eagle Bearer is in a really good spot right now. So if you've had one sitting in your stash collecting dust, now's the time to pull it out. The Toxic PVE Dark Zone makes it more accessible than ever, and the current season modifiers make it hit harder than it has in a long time. I'm excited to see how many of you dust off yours after this video. Drop a comment and let me know if you're going to try it and what build you're gonna run. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me. If this one landed right, do me a favor and drop a like and subscribe. Totally helps. And if you want to catch the next one when it drops, just flip on notifications. Big thanks to all the channel members and everyone supporting the channel. You guys are the reason this community keeps growing stronger every day. I'm so proud.
Insane, in the brain, crazy, insane, got no brain.
Oh, yeah, if you're digging the music and want access to those really cool gamer music playlists and weekly beat packs, TUX'S Players Club is always open. Just hit join or check the link in the description. No pressure though. I seriously appreciate you being here either way. If you're not ready to join but still want to check out the music, I've got a public playlist you can listen to right now. Links in the description. Catch you in the next one. Later.